The Sailor and the Mermaid. The sea was a living thing, moody, beautiful, and wild. Jonas Grey had spent his whole life upon it, a sailor from the age of 10, a captain before he turned 30. He had ridden out tempests that cracked the sky open with fire, sailed through glassy waters that seemed to stretch forever, and seen sights most men would never believe. Yet nothing had prepared him for the morning he met the Mermaid. It was late autumn, and the Wind's Call, his beloved ship, was sailing north toward lands few dared to reach. The crew was weary. Supplies were low, and for 3 days a thick mist had clung to the ship like a ghost, muffling every sound except the mournful creaking of the wooden boards. Jonas stood at the prow, his hands resting on the rail, his eyes scanning the endless white. The men spoke nervously of ill omens, of the sea mermaids, spirits who sang sailors to their doom. Jonas dismissed it at first, but the longer the mist lingered, the harder it was to ignore the weight of unease settling over the ship. Then, out of the silence, he heard singing. It was faint, almost imagined, but so achingly beautiful that it froze him where he stood. It was a melody that spoke of longing, of places beyond the edge of the world, of dreams forgotten and futures never lived. He leaned forward, and that was when he saw her. She was floating on the water as easily as a gull, her long hair swirling like ribbons around her, her skin glowing faintly in the mist. Her tail was silver and green, flashing briefly when she dipped beneath the surface. She had eyes as deep and endless as the sea itself. Jonas's breath caught. He had heard tales of mermaids, of course. Who hadn't? But to see one, to truly see one, was another matter entirely. "Who are you?" he called, his voice strangely rough. The creature smiled, a small, knowing smile. "I am Mira," she said, her voice carrying effortlessly across the water. "I come to those who wander too far." He should have been afraid. Every story warned of their danger, how a mermaid's song could bind a man's will, how a single kiss could pull him into the depths forever. But Jonas felt no fear, only a powerful curiosity, a longing he couldn't name. "What do you want?" he asked. Mira's head tilted, her hair drifting in tendrils. "Not want, sailor. Offer. Come away from your ship. Come where the currents cradle you, where time forgets you, where sorrow cannot reach." Jonas hesitated. Behind him, his ship groaned quietly, the mist turning it into a dark silhouette. He thought of his crew, some asleep below, some muttering worriedly above. He thought of the voyages he had yet to make, the distant lands he had promised himself he would see. There were cities of gold whispered of in the taverns of Lisbon, mountains so high they touched the stars somewhere across the world. Yet part of him ached to let go, to dive into the sea and drift with Mira into some eternal dreamlike existence. "Is it truly without sorrow?" he asked softly. Mira's smile faded slightly. "Nothing is truly without sorrow," she admitted, "but beneath the waves, sorrow weighs less. You would be free." Jonas closed his eyes for a long moment. When he opened them, he met her gaze firmly. "Not yet," he said. Mira's expression flickered with something like sadness, or maybe understanding. She drifted closer until she was nearly within arm's reach. The ship swayed gently beneath Jonas's feet, as if even it were holding its breath. "Few refuse once they hear the call," Mira whispered. "Perhaps I will return someday," Jonas said, his voice low. "When the world has nothing more for me." Mira reached out, her fingertips brushing lightly against Jonas's forehead. It was a touch like cool water on a fevered brow, And in that moment, Jonas felt a glimpse of what she offered, a boundless, silent kingdom where he could swim with creatures of wonder, where the sun was only a memory and dreams were as real as the seaweed curling around his limbs. And then, just as quickly, it was gone. Mira gave a small nod, almost like a bow, and with a flick of her silver tail, she vanished beneath the waves. The mist lifted almost immediately, tearing apart as if a hidden hand had drawn back a curtain. A fresh, lively wind filled the sails, and the wind's call surged forward once more, breaking free from the stillness. Jonas stood there a long while, staring into the rippling water where Mira had disappeared. Life aboard the ship resumed its rhythm, the shouting of orders, the flapping of sails, the laughter of men relieved to feel the ship move again. Jonas rejoined them, but something had changed in him. He laughed and he sang with the crew. He steered them through storms and starless nights. But sometimes, when the sea grew glassy and the stars blurred into mist, he would hear it again, that faint, sorrowful melody, and he would wonder, would there come a day when he would have no more shores left to find, no more adventures left to chase? Would there come a night when he would answer the call, diving at last into the arms of the waiting sea? He didn't know, but until that day, he sailed on, a man caught between two worlds, the restless, roaring world above and the deep, silent mystery below.